Good afternoon. My name is Tammy Harper, and I am the girls physical education teacher and the athletic director at Pillins Middle School in Mobile. I am here as part of my Instructional Leadership 632 class, working on my EDS, and that is at Jacksonville State University. I'm here to give you an overview of a research proposal, and I wanted to do it in my field, in my class. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the physical education at Pillins Middle School. Before we do that, I wanted to start with explaining the importance of physical education. First of all, physical education as a class is a required component of the state curriculum of Alabama. It is taught in all public schools. Physical fitness and activity is closely related to academic achievement. Studies have shown that physical activity actually affects the way kids think, the way they perform in the classroom, and the way they behave in a classroom. Also, during a time of when there is a rise in state and national obesity rates, right now I think for ages 10 through 7, children ages 10 through 7, the national obesity rate is 15.8%. Alabama ranks 9th with an obesity rate of 18.2%. Also, physical education and physical fitness have been shown throughout studies to have health benefits that are long-term. Our health, our blood pressure, our mobility, all of these things are affected by physical fitness, and all of that begins with a physical education. When I knew that I had to do a research proposal, and I wanted to do it on my PE class, I wanted to start by looking at my own program and what I think are the weaknesses of that program. It didn't take long for me to figure out. But before I go into that, I want to tell you a little bit about Pillins. Pillins is a middle school off of DIP, which is Dauphin Island Parkway in Mobile. It has 549 students, and the poverty rate is right at 80%. We are 97% minority. The Mobile County Public School System is the largest in the state of Alabama. It services near 58,000 students. There are 91 schools in the system, and it employs near 8,000 teachers. Our day at Pillins Middle School is composed of 6 50-minute periods, with, of course, lunch being a little bit longer. We start our day at 6:50 a.m. in the morning. Never been at a school that did that. The bus is arriving at 6:45. Kids come in at 6:50, and then we are released at 2:30 in the afternoon. When I was looking for a research proposal, what is the problem with our PE classes? It became very evident as soon as I looked at the boys and the girls classes combined. The largest boys PE class for the year 2017-2018 is 76 boys. Those 76 boys in a high poverty, high minority setting are handled by one certified teacher, and he also has an aide. The largest girls class for that same year is 70 girls. Those 70 girls are handled by the researcher, me, one adult, no aide. So that gives me my statement of the problem, is that classes are just too large. You cannot expect teachers to perform with 70 and 75 and 80 kids in a classroom. It's just impossible to get it done. So our hypothesis is going to show that the class size is going to have an effect not only on the participation rates, but on the presence of data measuring the performance of the kids. Okay, the first thing we want to do is we want to choose our subjects for this study. So I'm working with my largest and my smallest class. Group A is going to be my smallest class, and then Group B is going to be my largest class. You can see that they're similar as far as age group and level. They're all 6th through 8th graders. but where they differ. A is a group of 32 girls, and B is a group of 70 girls. Now, I wanted to see if I was headed in the right direction with this research proposal, so I did like an early analysis of the things that we do in PE, and I wanted to look at their participation rates. I'm looking at 4 categories of dressing out, stretching, walking, and then free play time. And sure enough, it shows me that my participation rates in my smaller class of 32 ranged all the way from 44%, so 44% were dressing out, to 81% taking part in free play. Then my largest group, I only had participation rates of 11 to 47%. So you can see that obviously, if my study is going to be right, class size is definitely going to affect those 2 things. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to have a collection of data. Okay, I'm just going to show you a quick overview of the data collection process. And each one of these steps will take a long time and a lot of research. But for this presentation's purposes, I'm just going to make it short and sweet. Okay, first of all, we're going to develop a timeline. Then we're going to develop a modified assessment tool, which is based on the actual Alabama Physical Fitness Assessment Tool. We're going to have the kids perform. We're going to collect that data, do an analysis of that data, and then once we analyze the data, we're going to use those numbers to assign each girl to a physical zone. Okay? So by their age and their numbers of performance, each one will be in a certain zone. They'll be rated as physically fit, not physically fit, or highly physically fit. Okay, and then it's also, we're going to look again at the rates of participation. Okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to design our proposal? First, we've already stated the purpose of this study. We want to show the relationship between the 2 variables. So we're going to look at, first, it's going to be of a quantitative design. Okay, it's going to be quantitative, and it's also going to be casual comparative and a quasi-experimental type, because we're doing some kind of experiment and we're going to show a cause and effect relationship. We're going to do this through use of our independent and dependent variables. Our independent variable, which we can't control, is our class size, and then our dependent variables will be the participation rates and the presence of data that is taken for each group. Okay, what are the threats to this design? First of all, the threats at Pittlands Middle School to any design in the PE program, they're huge, but I tried to narrow it down. First of all, there's an absenteeism from PE that sort of shows that PE is used as a punishment. Where 3 kids are absent for the day from school, 10 will be absent from PE. So that's a huge threat to this design. Student apathy, which we can't control. Sometimes these kids, especially in high poverty and high minority, do exactly what they want to do and what they consider important. So student apathy is something that we just work on as teachers. There's a lack of time. You have 70 kids in a class. There's a lack of time. And then, of course, there is a lack of assistance. We're going to develop a timeline. All of these things are going to take place between January and August of 2018. During that time, we're going to identify the problem, choose the subjects, review literature and studies on this topic. We're going to collect and analyze the data, and then we're going to present and prepare the reports. And finally, probably the most important part, what is the importance of this study and these anticipated findings? And they're numerous. They go far beyond the school, the system, and just Mobile, because class size in PE is a huge problem throughout the United States, I learned in my research. What we need is a data-driven answer, because we're in a data-driven age where everything is run by the numbers. Okay, we're going to look at play versus physical education. Do we want kids to play in physical education, or do we want them to receive a physical education? And if that is true, we're going to use our measurable data to support classroom size reduction. And I know that that's just quick, but I had 10 minutes to explain to you a research proposal that truly took months. So that is an overview of the proposal. And then I also listed my references. Thank you for your attention.